that again. Alright, while I'm getting situated here, just wanted to say that I've got a lot of stuff on my mind right now. I've got a lot of things going on. I've got just a lot of emotions, a lot of thoughts. But I wanted to talk about the video from earlier today. Hey Paige, hey Jasmine, and explain it a little more, because I didn't post the pictures or the video from my dad's graveside for attention. I did it for a reason. And hey Ash, and I did it because there are a lot of things that people die from every day that are completely preventable. My dad was not necessarily a case, but he had a lot of issues that led up to his death that could have been prevented. He beat colon cancer. He beat type 2 he had type 2 diabetes that was semi under control. He eventually he died from a surgery to get rid of his liver cancer, and it sucked. It was 5 years ago. 3 weeks it'll be 5 years. It's hard losing a parent. Hey Donna, it's hard losing a parent, but it's turned me into, I don't know. I don't let a lot of people in. Hey Shane, but I decided that today would be a good day. Don't really know why, to let some people see a different side of me and kind of learn why I am who I am, why I do the things I do, why I act the way I act. But my dad was an amazing man. He got custody of me and my brother when we were pretty young. We were pre-teens. And he raised us right. We were raised in church, but he was a very stern, he was a very strict dad, but he loved us unconditionally. And he never stopped loving. He was one of the most kind, gentle people ever. Is anybody else frozen, or is it just Jessica? But anybody that ever came across him would attest to it. He would be the first person to give the shirt off of his back if it was his last article of clothing. It's just a great guy, and he made a life out of loving and living life to its fullest. Thanks, Ellen Jane. He was an amazing person, and I model a lot of what I do after him. He was a very strict parent. I'm a very strict person when it comes to my kids. But that being said, my dad never let any of his illnesses, any of his troubles, he never let any of them show. He never let them hold him back. 2 years before he passed away, he actually bought a business, an old Land Rover dealership. Most of you probably know it. It's on Battleground. And he turned it into his own maintenance shop. He ran it, him and his friend. He was the first person to work, the last person to leave. What I'm trying to say is my dad lived up to his potential. My dad reached his dreams. He never stopped chasing them. And I do the same. I do everything I can to not only better my own life, but to accomplish what I set out to accomplish by helping other people. And that's what life's all about. It's not about sitting around and hoarding all of the knowledge. It's not about sitting around and hoarding the money. It's about spreading the love. It's about spreading your knowledge. It's about sharing. And there's there's a lot more to this life than being the kind of person that says I know everything and I'm going to keep it to myself, or that uh, has a cold shoulder to everyone. You know, I told the story, I think it was last week or the week before, about the kid that lives across the street from me who uses my lawn equipment to mow other people's yards. And the kid is 11 years old and he's morbidly obese. I mean, 11 years old and he weighs more than I do. And I'm a 210-pound guy. I'm not a small guy by any means. And it's really, it's hard, just to see a child like that. I mean, the kid's being raised right. He's just not being raised in a lifestyle that will let him live long enough to be the great kid or great adult he's going to become. And it really bothers me. But now that we've gotten to know each other and stuff like that, he's actually started asking about my fit camps. He's asked about getting in shape, helping him get in shape for football season. And he told me the other day that even his mother's asking about it because she's very heavy as well. And they're great people. They're awesome people. Really respectful kid, really respectful family. But if back to my dad, when my dad died, I was already on a pretty bad downward spiral into being a drunk. I partied every night. I drank every night. I didn't care about anything. I had already lost my wife and kids due to alcohol, and me just being a general butthole. And then when my dad died, I really shut everybody out of my life. I didn't care about anyone. I didn't care about anything. I was just going to live for me and do whatever I wanted to do. And I had pretty much given up on myself at that point. And I let it continue for years. And until about, let's say, a couple of years ago, I grew up. I realized that it wasn't going to get me anywhere. I was working a great job. I'd put myself in risk of losing it from showing up to work drunk several times. But everything that's happened in my life is the reason I keep going. It's the reason that I keep doing what I do. And I look back and it's like, if my dad would have given up because he was diagnosed with colon cancer, he would have never done anything. If he would have given up when he was diagnosed with diabetes, he would have never amounted to anything except a great guy. If my dad would have given up when he was diagnosed with liver cancer, he would have never even owned his business. But he turned out, and it's kind of funny, after he passed away, my brother went to a Men's Warehouse that's local, and it's funny because we were buying matching ties and to wear to his funeral, and the guy working the store asked us what it was for. We told him it was for our dad's funeral and everything, and he and the guy actually knew my dad from high school, and it amazed me at how many people. And the family night and then the funeral, it astonished me how many people actually knew my dad, because I just grew up with him thinking he was just some redneck mechanic. I never realized that he was that well known, that he was that popular, that he was that loved in the community. He never made it a deal. He never made it a thing in his life. He was who he was. But, and then we moved to my brother, who, as most of you know, have over the past 2 years, he's had a lot of medical conditions and had a scare. But he had a medical scare this past year that was very similar to what killed my dad. And it was like living it all over again before it happened. And worrying about the same outcome coming from it. But with my brother's got an amazing career. He's got an amazing husband. He's got an amazing life. He's got really great friends. I mean, my brother-in-law couldn't be a cooler guy. But if he would have given up during any of these trying times with his medical conditions, or even way back when he was being harassed for being gay in the first place, if he would have given up then, he would never have any of the great things that he has in his life now. He would have never met the guy that he married. He would have never been able to have the happy home and family that he has now. And then we moved to me, and I still struggle a lot mentally and emotionally. I'm not an extrovert. I don't talk about myself. Not a very personable person for the most part, but I do care about other people. And that's one thing that I've taken from both of my parents, my brother, and it's funny because my little brother actually teaches me a lot about life on a regular basis. He's kind of filled the shoes since my dad passed away, and being one of my closest friends and one of the people that I look up to, even though I'm older and bigger than him. But that's the way life works sometimes. I've got an amazing support system that I couldn't be happier to have. But I could have let everything in my life, from the wretched stepmother that I had, the alcohol, that was lightning, that's really scary. But I could have let all of that hold me back. I could have just, not gone anywhere in life and continued being unhappy in a well-paying job. I could have continued having so much self-pity and thinking that everybody should feel sorry for me because my dad was dead, and everybody should love me because I made a lot of money, and that just wasn't how I was raised. It's not who I am. And there's still a lot of things that people don't understand about me, that they don't know about me, but I'm not a mean person. I'm a loud person, but I'm not a mean person. Even when I'm angry, 90% of it's out of good intentions. Just don't make me angry. But if I would have let all that hold me back, I wouldn't be in the position I am now, being able to help people and sticking with it. And like I mentioned it in a video last week, that I think it was Tuesday or Thursday. I want to say Tuesday. But my mom was the only person that showed up to boot camp. And it's really funny because my mom's never worked out. She's used her health as an excuse not to work out for years. But I was persistent enough as an influence to, I guess, change her outlook on health. And it's a lot easier to be persistent and keep one parent out of the ground when you already have one in the ground. It hits home a lot more when you've already got to take flowers to one parent and they don't get to thank you. But my mom's always loved me and supported me and had my back, but she's never been one to care about fixing the problems that she's had with her health. But she's actually done really well over the past year. She's lost weight, she's done great, and now she's exercising, which is more than I could ever ask for, because I know that now I don't have to worry about a health problem taking her from me within the next few years. She's the only parent I have left, other than my stepdad. My stepdad's really cool too. uh, but he's far more hard-headed than anyone I know. He's definitely set in his ways. But my point was that you never want to be the one carrying flowers into a cemetery, and you sure as heck never want to be the reason someone has to carry flowers into a cemetery. And all of this comes together in the fact that we live in a generation where our children aren't expected to live past 40, 50 at most. And it's not because of violence. Nutrition is the number one killer in this country. It's crazy. Just a few years ago, it was drunk driving or fatal driving accidents. But now it's nutrition. It's completely preventable. There's no reason for us to sit there and put our own children in the ground. Ever. It's one thing putting a parent in the ground, even if it's young, but to have to bury your child because of something that could have been prevented, it's unacceptable. And it's saying my connection's weak. But, and for all of you guys that are commenting, I've been reading them as I could. But all of you guys that are commenting and talking about losing a parent or a loved one, my heart goes out to you. I know how it feels all too well. Thanks, Heather. I know how it feels, Shane. It sucks. July's never a good month for me. It's funny because I celebrate several birthdays in July, not my own, but it's the month that I lost my wife, I lost my kids, I lost my dad. So it's a rough month. I couldn't be more grateful for my ex-wife as a friend, as a parent to my children. She's an amazing, amazing parent. I would never take credit from her in that respect at all. She's an awesome person. And we co-parent really well. I give her all the credit in the world. My kids turned out amazing because of her. Heather, you're watching from Germany? That's awesome. Thanks. That's crazy. Technology's a wonderful thing. But you guys are awesome. And I see the reason this all came about in the first place is because I see it on a daily basis about people saying, especially in fitness groups, about people talking about they post in the fitness groups because they don't feel comfortable posting on their own page about their healthy lifestyle, and because they have so many negative people around them or family members and stuff that just contradict everything they say when it comes to fitness and health. And this storm is really screwing with my connection. But now that stupid storm knocked my focus off. But there's completely forgot what I was talking about. I really forgot what I was talking about. I had complete blank. I have no clue. Somebody remind me what I was talking about. I really just drew a complete blank. Not acceptable. I never draw blanks. Oh, my kid's an ex-wife. Yeah, they're awesome. But fitness has not being ashamed of fitness. You don't have to hide the fact that you live a healthy lifestyle. And I'm proof of it. I just talked about it. My mother. I don't hide anything that I post about a healthy lifestyle. I post it everywhere, and I share it in over 30 groups. There's no reason to sit behind a closed door and talk about your fitness lifestyle just because somebody's going to have a negative comment. There's never a reason to be ashamed of being healthy. Do a lot of them feel like or come back with it being shoved down their throat? Yes. So do everyone else on every political issue there is in the world. Whether it be guns, homosexuality, who's running for president, everything. Somebody's going to feel like something's being shoved down their throat. And so be it. Being offended doesn't kill anyone. It's not an ailment. Being offended it's an emotion just like any other emotion. Any feeling you ever have, you'll eventually get over it. But there's no reason, because you're an impact in somebody's life, regardless of whether you know it or not. You will eventually or have already impacted someone. Someone somewhere is watching everything you do, and they're saying, that person takes fat burners. I'm going to start taking fat burners. That person wears this kind of clothing. I'm going to start wearing this kind of clothing. We're all impacted, and we all impact. That's the way it works. If there were no influences in this world, we'd all be naked, and we'd all look exactly the same, because we would have no opinions. We would have nothing that sets us apart. But at the same time, we wouldn't do anything. We'd get nowhere. The influences in this world are what creates this world, good or bad. There's no reason to just sit around and mope or complain because somebody has a negative comment about your healthy lifestyle. Eventually they'll come around and they'll be like, that person's happy all the time. That person's lost a lot of weight. What'd you do to lose a whole bunch of weight? Worked my butt off and I ate right. I should probably try that. It's a circle of life, people. It's just the way it works. There's nothing ever to be ashamed about when it comes to being who you are. I don't want to go on a rant, but the body acceptance movement is, I get it, I understand it. Be comfortable in the skin you're in. I understand being confident. There's no reason to be ashamed of your size. There's no reason to be ashamed for what you look like. I have to accept this face every day. The difference is accepting your health. And when you sit there and publicize that you're overweight, okay, you're confident about being overweight. But are you doing anything to make your life longer? Are you doing anything to make yourself healthy? Because I get it, people are big. It's the way life works. Some of it's genetics, not much of it. The only time genetics plays in is where you gain the fat, not how much fat you gain. There's no such thing as big boned. Guarantee you everybody's skeleton weighs relatively the same based on height. But if you're a female and you're over 35, give me a second. There it is. It's back. But if you're a female and you're over 32% body fat, and a male that's over 25% body fat, you're at a 70% higher risk of getting health-related disorders, heart disease, diabetes. All of these things are preventable. Having poor health is nothing to be proud of. There's just, I don't get it. I also don't get, I'm not going to go on a rant about certain companies that I won't name. But if you're going to market yourself as a nutrition company, you dang better include food in your programs. The last time I checked, pills, wraps, very low calorie diets. What else? the stickers, none of that fits into a food group. And until they add stickers into a food group, or pills or powders, you don't need them. I lose weight just fine. I have a hard enough time losing weight, just as hard as anyone else, trust me. The difference is I work my butt off to do it because I want to be healthy. Because I don't want to be in the cemetery with my children bringing me flowers. Because I want to live long enough to enjoy this life. It's funny because most of us, the majority of Americans, don't ever get to stop working. Those that do get to enjoy retirement don't get to enjoy it until over half their life is already gone. Why spend the part that you're working unhealthy and miserable? Make the best of what you can have. It's just, I don't understand people that want to hide the fact that they're living a healthy lifestyle. And if you're a beginner, you should be more proud than anyone about living a healthy lifestyle. I don't care if you're at 50% body fat, you're 315 pounds, and you should weigh 150. I don't care. You should be the most proud out of anyone for taking the first step to making yourself better. Because when you see people that have already accomplished their fitness goal that are just maintaining, yeah, it's a struggle for them too to maintain. Because it's always easier to go lay on the couch and do whatever you want to, rather than going to the gym and eating healthy foods. But there's no reason for you to be ashamed of making the first step toward a healthier you. There's no reason at all. There's so many people in the world that just, they want to hide the fact that they're changing their life. And I get it in some certain circumstances, like deployment wives or girlfriends who are trying to surprise their spouse or loved one overseas with a new body. That's cool. I understand that, especially now that we have technology in remote locations like Iraq and Afghanistan, to where the deployed have access to Facebook. At times, you don't want them to see that. I understand that. That's cool. But when you're sitting there and you're ashamed, you weren't ashamed when you were sitting at McDonald's for 17 years gaining the weight. And you sure as heck shouldn't be ashamed while you're sitting there losing it. I'm telling you, it takes more to make that first step to head in the right direction than it does to maintain. Donna, you don't have to be afraid of failing. Because being afraid of failing means you're leaving failing as an option. And it shouldn't be an option. It should never be an option. There's just small steps in the right direction lead to huge, huge successes. And I've seen it a million times. I work in the fitness industry. I see it all the time. There was a guy that went to the gym that I worked at. He was in his 50s, wheelchair bound. Had been in a wheelchair for years, type 2 diabetic. The thing that scared him was the fact that he was getting ready to lose a foot. So he decided to start working out. He worked out for a year. Now he uses his wheelchair as a walker to get around the gym. He uses his wheelchair to sit outside when he's waiting on the bus. He's lost almost 100 pounds. He swims every day, and he does weighted squats. A guy that couldn't walk in his mid-50s decided to change his life and not depend on a wheelchair anymore. If that isn't inspiring, I don't know what the heck in the world is going to inspire you. I want to say it's never too late to start, but it is too late. It's too late when you're sitting in a box 6 feet under the ground. It's too late when they take a leg. It's too late when you're hooked up to machines all the time. Not seeing results, Leslie, isn't because of lack of effort. It's because your nutrition isn't on point. You can make healthier choices, but it's not in what you eat, it's in how much you eat and what is in what you eat. Um, and there's no, I don't, people complain because they don't see fast results. Not that they don't see results, because everybody depends on a scale, or they have an emotional attachment to a scale. Get over the emotional attachment. The scale does not dictate your self-worth, and it sure as heck doesn't tell you how much fat is on your body. The scale is nothing more than a measurement tool to tell you how much you weigh. It does not tell you how much fat you have. Because I guarantee that I weigh more than most of the people in these comments. I'm not unhealthy. I'm not big boned. And a lot of people don't understand that you need to measure yourself, not just weigh yourself. Because the scale will stay the same for weeks. But when your clothes start fitting differently, you start seeing different things, you start seeing muscle tone, then you understand it. But people don't understand that it took you a long time to get that unhealthy. Getting healthy is not going to happen overnight. And average weight loss is, I actually saw this the other day. Someone was actually upset because they only lost 11 pounds in a month. Average weight loss is 1 to 2 pounds in a month, or a week, I'm sorry, which equals to 8 pounds in a month. So 11 pounds in a month? It's really good. Now, can you lose more? Absolutely. But that's dictated by a lot of different things. It's good, Leslie. Small steps. That's all it takes. Small steps. It's not hard. It's not physically, it's not hard at all. Exercise is easy. Eating, you're already doing it. You just have to change what's in front of you. A lot of people get migraines, Mary. A solution for that, or something that helps, especially when I gave up sodas, vitamin B12, because you're depriving yourself of the caffeine. When you don't have that rush of energy and the sugars, and the processed sugars, and the caffeine constantly, your energy levels get low because you're getting short bursts of energies and then you feel lethargic after they've worn off. The best thing for that is carbs, and I know a lot of people preach low carb. I'm living proof, and every single one of my clients is living proof that you can lose weight with eating high carbs. It has nothing to do with your carb intake. Anyone that you've ever seen on a low carb diet is moody as crap, and they never have energy to do anything because they're starving their self of their only energy source. Carbs are energy. Am I saying go out and eat a loaf of bread? No. But you need carbs, plain and simple. The other thing is using vitamin B12 is anything with it, any foods, or, and I'm hoping you can see this, Mary. The the vitamin B12 uh, is amazing. You can take it as a supplement if you want. That's how I used it when I was weaning myself off, so I would keep away from the headaches. And literally, I would pop an ibuprofen in the morning with a B12 just to keep the headache from coming in the middle in the morning, and then a B12 in the middle of the day for about a few days to a week, and it worked for me. I'm not saying that's going to cure everything. I don't recommend taking or getting hooked or depending on a pill or a supplement or any type of vitamin other than a multivitamin. But vitamin B12 is something that you need anyways. So Anthony, there's really no such thing as superfoods that help you lose weight. It's just portions, and no 21 day fix is not gonna. 21 day fix is crap. I hate the whole idea behind it. Um, because you need to be weighing your food, measuring your food. Measuring it in a container is not the proper way to measure it. If it fits in a container, I could put melted chocolate in that container and it will fit. Is that healthy? No. Stay away from yogurts when you're trying to lose weight at the beginning. Yogurts are high in sugar for the most part. There's a lot of stuff that's going to tell you that it's fat free. And it really annoys me because even though it technically is fat free or low fat, which they can claim fat free if they have under a gram of fat in them. But usually when they say fat free, look on the back of the package, they're packed full of processed sugars. And realistically, you shouldn't be eating anything processed anyways. No, there are foods that have more vitamins in them. It's funny because everybody likes celery. I love celery, but it's also the vegetable that has the highest content of sodium in it. Um, so I mean, and realistically, you don't want to overdo sodium, but you're not trying to cut out sodium because you need it to retain water. You don't want to cut water weight. You're not burning fat when you lose water weight. You don't do anything except dehydrate yourself and make yourself even more unhealthy than you were to begin with. So sodium is actually something that's decent. Um, the thing with, and I get what you're saying now by superfoods and different benefits. When it comes to vegetables, each color of a vegetable actually represents a different benefit that it has health-wise, whether it's heart, liver, kidney benefits, lung benefits. Literally the color of the vegetable represents a benefit that it carries. Do some research on that and experiment with vegetables. Vegetables are awesome, and you should have them with every meal. But the thing with that is you can't just. What fruits do I stick with? Bananas are horrible. Bananas are not horrible. Bananas are when you're controlling when you're controlling your carbs. But the thing that I find is stay away from fruits because they're sugar and carbs. When you're starting out, just moderate them. Don't depend on fruits every single day. Fruits can be your worst enemy if you use them inappropriately. And there's not as many benefits to fruits as there are normal foods. When you go into things, I don't know what's going on with my signal, but when you get into things like when you're actually eating healthy and you're looking at your proteins, fats, and carbs, that's the only thing that you really need to focus on. Which, if it fits in your macros when it comes to fruits, that's okay. Just pay attention to how much you're eating and it's a science. um, but it's not difficult. Easiest thing, just stay away from fruits. I've actually found that more people have when they start eating healthy, because when you're eating unhealthy, and I could go on and on about this, but I'll make it short. When you're eating unhealthy, there's Joseph, send me a private message and I'll get with you about that. But when you're eating unhealthy, it's really, really easy to get all the calories in that you need every day. You're gaining weight because you're getting too many calories. But as a lot of my clients experience, when you start eating healthy, you have all of these great things packed into your food, but very little calories. So you have to eat a lot more. And when I bulk, I have to eat, God, right at 3,200 calories a day without exercise. So if I exercise or if I do cardio, I have to eat more than that. And eating it healthy, that puts a lot of food in my stomach. And I made a video the other day about making a protein shake. And people depend on protein shake, but you shouldn't depend on it as a meal replacement. You should use it as a supplement because that's what it's meant to do. It helps get you up to your caloric intake. Breads are not bad, Mom. Just not a lot of them. That doesn't mean eat half a loaf. And don't put butter on it. Peanut butter or almond butter when it comes to bread. But when you start eating healthy, it takes a lot of food to get you up to whatever your caloric intake may be. And I'm not going to throw out any numbers because your caloric intake is your caloric intake. You can't eat for someone else's body. It just doesn't work that way. You won't eat the same as I do. And a lot of people actually question why our website has no meal plans on it and why it has no exercise plans on it, because fitness is not a one-size-fits-all thing. Everybody can do it, but it has to be custom tailored to be effective. Just like the video I made last week. You buy a suit, it'll fit everybody. But the impact comes when it's tailored. When you tailor something to meet your caloric intake, you're eating a lot of food, a lot more than you expect. And a lot of people have trouble getting up to that. So like the video last week when I was showing how to make a protein shake, instead of making just a generic powder and water protein shake, add things to it, like almond milk or bananas, berries, stuff like that. Stay away from apples and crap like that. Usually the only things I'll ever eat fruit-wise are some sort of berry and bananas. But that's just me when it's fruits. Kathy, yes, I do make meal plans. Zumba is good cardio if it actually gets your heart rate up. It's not about moving, it's about your heart rate. Moving is great. It helps with your endurance. But to actually burn fat, it's all about your heart rate. But yes, I do make meal plans and customized workout plans for all of my clients. Everybody gets the same quality. Everybody gets the same exact amount of things. Nobody gets extra. Nobody gets less. I don't shortchange anyone. That's why I do it online now, because it's so much more effective being able to focus on the nutrition and the exercise and everything else without having to sit there and count to 15 for you. Kickboxing is probably going to be your best bet when it comes to exercising. But yes, meal plan, I take care of meal planning and teach you how to actually work your meal plan so you don't have to depend on me. And that's the best thing of what I do, is I make it to where you don't have to depend on me forever. If you stay with me, you either really like me or I'm not doing my job. I educate people. I don't hoard the knowledge to myself and just say, hey, I know everything. I'm not going to teach you how to do everything. Daryl messaged me privately for what I charged. I don't throw a blanket price out there. Like I said, fitness is not a one size fits all kind of deal. I don't believe that it should be restricted by finances completely. So I'm very affordable, but I'm not gonna throw out a blanket price. I'm not gonna charge a single mother of three that can barely afford rent the same price that I'm gonna charge a lawyer. It's just not the way it works. I'll go through some of these comments now. I'm sorry for the rant. I know it's been 45 minutes already. Paige, I gave you a meal plan. Stick to it. Not answering. If there wasn't fruit in your meal plan, don't eat fruit. Nikki, you missed a lot. Jesus, I'm not starting that 45-minute conversation over. I needs to lose weight really bad. Daryl, where do you live? Exactly. Paige, I don't care if you love fruit. You're not eating fruit until I tell you you can eat fruit. Plain and simple. Speaking of, Paige, I will have that logo over to you by the end of the week. Our apparel designer is still working on that file, so I'll have that over to you. Nikki, you have seen my face like 30 times every single day for the past 6 months. But thank you. But Kathy, I mean, seriously, just shoot me a message, and I'll get with you on getting you set up with a meal plan. Workout safe for pregnancies. Actually, Ellen Jane, I'm hoping you're still on here. I'll give you a really quick response, but message me individually. But yes, I've trained a couple of pregnant women, and if you haven't already worked out, when you become pregnant, or if you're not living a healthy lifestyle at the time, ease into it. Do not jump in and go crazy. When it comes to exercise, if you're already exercising, maintain that level of exercise. The pregnancies are really difficult to deal with because there's no two pregnancies that are the same. So it really depends on your comfort, your level of capabilities, and everything I do when I work with pregnant women is completely custom, because it's not there is no just, hey, go do these exercises. It's literally completely tailored for you, because like I said, there's no two pregnant women out there that are exactly the same. So I can't say what I've done in the past would work for you without actually assessing what you can do and stuff like that. Daryl, how far is Sophia from Greensboro? Actually, I'll find out. Because if you're relatively close, I'm actually, and for the ones that are still here, I actually completely forgot to mention this. Next month for my clients, and these are all of my clients nationwide, and hopefully soon to be international. I'm going to be running a 12-week fitness challenge. There's going to be a male and a female winner. Random, so about 25 minutes. Okay. Kathy, no, I don't work at Gold's anymore. I left Gold's a few months ago. I'm strictly online now. I work from home. I don't do one-on-one training, but I do 3 boot camps a week. And getting back to the boot camps, or the 12-week challenge, pull up my calendar so I don't misquote dates. Um, if you're interested, there's going to be a male and female winner. The winners will have their choice of either $200 cash or a Garmin Vivo Active fitness tracker. I like them way better than I do Fitbit. But that being said, with the challenge, body fat assessments, customized meal plans, customized workout plans, I'm hosting 3 boot camps a week in Greensboro. Haven't really figured out a location. I'm still experimenting with locations that I like, but with that, it's a competition. Whoever loses the most body fat wins, basically. But there's a lot more that plays into it than just body fat loss. But the only condition is that you have to be one of my clients. If you want to be one of my clients, message me individually, and I'll get with you. We'll get you set up. I'm going to kick I come back the second. So Saturday, July 9th is going to be the kickoff for the 12-week challenge. And that's when we're all going to get together. I'm actually probably going to do a live feed boot camp that day with all of the people that are involved in the challenge that aren't local. And but it's going to be amazing. I'm going to put out more details. I'm working on the advertisements and stuff for that now. But if you've ever been a part of a 12-week challenge and you've seen the flaws that a lot of the gyms have with their 12-week challenges, I don't work for a gym. I get to do what the heck I want and make it amazing. So that being said, there's going to be 3 boot camps a week. Everything's customized. And the winner, $200 cash or a fitness tracker, you really can't beat it for 12 weeks of transforming your body, which is really the biggest reward. But aside from that, I'm pretty sure, what time is it? 9:24. So this is, Facebook's about to kick me off from the live session. So if you didn't get all of the information, jump back and watch the recording. You guys are awesome. I'm sorry for the rants. I'm sorry for the going on and on about myself, but it's just a lot going on right now. A lot of emotions, a lot of things. So I thought I'd let you guys get a better insight into my life. But there's a lot of stuff going on, and like I said earlier, if you have any questions or you want to talk to me about signing up for personal training or anything like that, feel free to shoot me a personal message. If you don't have my number, if you have my number, just text me. But we'll get you guys set up. And as we get closer, by the end of the month, I'll have a full release and all of the information for the fitness challenge. And we're going to kick that off. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great night, and I'll see you guys later.